Good evening, everyone. Happy Sunday. Today is Sunday, February the 8th. Wow, this month is going by very fast. Before you know it, it will be the end of the month. So we have got to get things cracking. Um, Welcome to our Sunday edition of our Leadership Development Call. My name is Miriam Kareem, and I'm so happy to have everybody here, to see everybody here ready, at attention, ready to write notes and really soak all this information in, um, to get our businesses going. I have a quick, maybe not really quick, but I think this is really important to discuss in the Newbie Corner before we get started. So, posture. I think it's important to talk about posture and to understand what it really is and what it is not. Posture does not humiliate. Posture does not mean you can be condescending to your personally enrolled members or to anyone for that matter. Posture does not do that. What posture does is when you do make a mistake or when you do see something that needs to be done, you do it. You admit that you made a mistake to whoever in your team you've made that mistake to. If it's a customer, that you say, look, I'm going to get this handled for you. One moment, instead of ghosting the person, that's not posture. But posture is so important. I see a lot of people when we talk about posture, they're posture in the chat. That's not what posture is. Posture is being humble, but at the same time being confident. It's working with authority and what you know you can do, the knowledge that you possess currently, and how to grow your business. But it's always being humble, always being helpful in the best way, in a professional way. That's posture. To me, that's posture. It doesn't mean be arrogant. It doesn't mean, again, to be condescending to anyone. Because that's a quick way to get just like, oh well, don't want to deal with you. Nobody will want to deal with you. And then how can you grow your business that way? So please keep that in mind, what posture is and what it definitely is not. And that being said, I'd like to introduce you all to our teacher tonight, Coach Will Zanders. He is an amazing multimillionaire in the network marketing world. Our first seven-figure earner at our green organics company at HBN, our first six-figure earner at Godasana. Just all around has great information for you to build your business. Great information, kind of life information too. Just all around amazing coach in our coach's entourage. So, Coach Will Zanders, are you available, sir?
I am available, Miriam. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you so much. And thank you, Coach Marcus, as well, for setting this one up. And ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, Miriam made some incredible points on posture. And a lot of times I think people get the way that they conduct themselves, they get posture confused with imposter. Okay. And a lot of times if people are subconsciously going through this imposter phase where they really feel like they should be winning, they're just not there yet. Instead of being patient and doing the tough inner work that gets you to the next level, they do start to posture themselves as if they have the results, as if they're superior to other people, which they're not. And nobody is. Everybody's created equally, and everybody's going to be strong in some things, and everybody's going to be weak in some things. And that's just life. The stuff that you can control is your mindset and the amount of work you put in. And one of the great things I learned a very long time ago about posture is it really comes down to belief, not to confuse it with imposter, because that's a real thing. All right. Imposters are all over the place. But when you think about posture, have you done enough research and learning and education? Because education is required in order to have the belief level in this industry. Have you watched the videos, read the books, got on the phone calls, talked to the people, been in the environments of network marketers who are playing the game at a very high level to the point where you believe in this company, you believe in the products, you start to believe in yourself, okay? You believe in the system, you believe in the pay plan. When you know that you have the best company in the industry today, it's easy to have posture because you kind of feel sorry for people if they don't partner up with the company. That's one level. The next level is when I personally talk to people, and I hope that you feel this way too, when they don't partner up with you, you feel bad for them because you know nobody is going to work as hard on their behalf as you. Nobody's going to spend the time, money, energy, and effort to build that business like you're going to do it. We don't make excuses. When I partner up with somebody and I personally sponsor them, I am 2 billion% confident that I'm the best person that they could possibly work with, no matter what, because nobody's going to work as hard, travel as far, do the calls, learn the information so you don't really have to do it as fast. Nobody's going to spend the hundreds, if not thousands of hours on the pay plan and the products to do trainings for you. Nobody's going to work that hard. And so if they don't sponsor up with me and they go to someone else or another company, my conscience is clear. I know this is their best shot. Like I know that, but that comes across in the presentation. And I don't want you to think, oh, well, they got to work with Will, this, that, or third. Absolutely not. I'm telling you that because I want you to put to working on yourself to the point where you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, where you are 2 billion% confident that when someone partners up with you, it's the best decision they could possibly make for their family. And then you won't have to worry about the posture because it's automatic. Because in your heart of hearts, you know that they're making a great decision partnering up with you. Even if the company was $500 to get started, or 1,000, or 1,320, like it used to be, over $1,300 when we first got in the industry. When you are at the level where you know you are going to put in the work and make no excuses to be the most educated, most professional, hardest working, top earning builder and leader for a team it could be, even if you're not there yet, but you're committed to the process and there's no quit in you, the word quit does not reside within you at all. That is going to come across in how you present to people, but you got to be the person that's really saying, I'm on this journey. I'm not quitting. A brick wall couldn't stop me. I'm going to the top, and anybody who works with me is going to the top with me. You have to mentally be at that point where you trust in the process and trajectory that you're on because of your effort and your mindset. And your posture is going to go from here to here immediately because it's in people's best interest to join you. It's in people's best interest to join you, period. Okay, so that's how that works, and I appreciate that. So what we're going to do on this particular call, I've had home meetings this weekend. We've been traveling. I feel like I've not been home in weeks and weeks and weeks, is what it feels like. But I have had a little bit of time to do is get some of the notes together from the $5,000 personal development seminar that I just came to. And about half of the things that I learned there have to be learned in person. There's no way I could possibly even pretend to go through the exercises and stuff with you in person. But a lot of the stuff was some really good mental information. So what I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks, or next month, leading up to our Dallas event, August 21st to the 23rd, be there, be square. I don't know what else to tell you. If you don't have a ticket to Dallas yet, get one. If they got any left, get one. It's going to be amazing. The event that we're coming up, I'm going to do a training call for people who are at 100 BV with HBN and 100 BV with GoDasana, and I'm going to do that call once a month just to try to get all that information out there. But this call tonight is going to be some of that information, of course, for everybody to enjoy, but I don't want it to take away from the regular type of training calls that we do, but I do want to get as much of that $5,000 worth of information into the hands of people, but I want it to be into the hands of people actually going to use the information. And in my personal experience, people who are at $9 a month with GoDasana sporadically, and they're not even with HBN at all, those aren't the people that are doing what it takes to get their business to another level. And this type of information would be wasted. So I don't want to do that, but I will post that in the group and we'll know who is at 100 BV with both companies. And you can look forward to a call that we're going to call the No Ceilings call. That'll be one this month in February, March, April, May, June, July. So we should get at least 7 of those calls in. They're going to be very, very impactful. But some of the information we're covering tonight is going to be directly from some of those notes that we got in like the first hour that we were at the personal development seminar. before we started doing like the really transformational stuff. So that being said, since a lot of this is not my own personal information, this is notes and me adding my kind of spiel to it. I'm going to hop off camera so I can focus on that. And then back to normal like usual. We'll be on camera for the whole call. So get your pens ready. This will be a good one. And again, I want to thank Coach Marcus and I want to thank Miriam as well, one of our up and coming leaders, for putting this call together, making sure it goes smoothly each and every Sunday. And I'm going to try to get y'all out of here a little bit early. I got a lot of work to do tonight. But again, thank y'all for hopping on. Now, we're going to talk about leadership from a standpoint of leadership does not start with strategy. All right. And when I say that, I want you to think about strategy versus identity. If you were a leader, what do you think would be more important for you? The leadership strategy or your identity? Who do you think you are? What do you think would be more valuable? I'm just curious. Put that in the chat. What do you think would be more important for a leader? And both are important, but what do you think is more important? Right, Coach Marcus got it, of course. Identity, who you really are, all right? Your leadership is going to start with shifting your identity, but a large part of shifting your identity is going to be your biochemistry. And we're going to talk about that. Now, I'm going to give you a statement right now that is worth the entire value of this entire call. And if you got to get off the call after I make this statement. If you wanted to change your entire life as fast as possible, you would have to do two things. Number one, and this is just one way to do it. Number one, you would have to figure out who you are as the future version of yourself, and you'd have to be very specific about that. Okay, your height, your weight, your income, what you do, where you live, your social circle, your career. You'd have to be very, very, very specific about who you are in the future. That's number one. And most people typically don't do that. They don't do 20 reasons why. If they do 20 reasons why, they typically stop after they do 20 reasons why, and they never do a 20 characteristics about myself. When personal development courses and things are offered, very few people take advantage of it. But then those are going to be the same people who look back and go, darn, I see the change in that person. I want to go do that now. But you've already missed 6 months to a year of growth and income for your family, and opportunities that are here today might not be here tomorrow. And so you got to figure out who you want to be. Who are you in the future? That's number one. The second thing you'd have to do is to start to view every decision that you make, no matter how big or how small, every decision that you make through the lens of the future you, okay? The lens of the future you. Now put a 1 in the chat if that concept makes sense. I mentioned it last week. I doubled down on it tonight because I know that sometimes you got to hear things 2 or 3 or 4 or 20 times to really drive it in. But if that's all you did tomorrow is to start before you make a decision about what you eat, sleep, watch, where you go, you do it through the lens of would future me do this? What would future me do in this particular situation? And that is how you bring your future identity into the present, okay? That's number one. You just get that part down. This will be the best year of your entire life, and I'm very confident about that. Now, from a leadership standpoint, I want to talk about identity and biochemistry. And I want you to understand that for a leader, your emotional state is going to be the most important thing for you to maintain. Once you've made a decision to be a leader, once you've made a decision to be a top earner, and do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat if my audio is coming in clear. I have a different mic set up tonight, so we'll see if it's good. And I want you to really understand, thank you, I appreciate it, to understand your emotional state comes first. Now, when a person is in a negative emotional state, like someone who's tired or they're overwhelmed or they're frustrated, I want you to understand that those people are going to miss opportunities for sure. Okay, they're going to miss opportunities for sure. When a person is in a tired, overwhelmed, frustrated emotional state, they're going to avoid making decisions that quite literally could change their life. They're just going to avoid making decisions. When a person is in a frustrated, overwhelmed, tired, emotional state, their vision for what they can accomplish is going to shrink, and they're going to overreact emotionally. People who are, how many people know if you've ever been frustrated, overwhelmed, or tired, and I've been there plenty of times, do you really understand that you are going to overreact emotionally to things that you shouldn't be overreacting to. And then when you're in a different state of mind later, you're going to be like, man, that was not the right play. Okay. My mother used to call it cutting off your nose to spite your face. Sometimes you do things that just don't make no sense. In the moment, it seems like something that you should be doing. But it's because you're in a state that doesn't allow you to make good decisions. When you're in a frustrated, overwhelmed, stressed out, tired, emotional state or a state of mind, okay, I need you to understand that you are activating your amygdala. That's a part of your brain. You're operating in the sympathetic nervous system. Okay, that's what you're doing. But when you shift your state, and I will teach you how to do it tonight, do not worry. When you shift your state and you become determined, and you become passionate, and you become committed, you're able to see solutions when before all you could see is problems. You're able to take action. Okay, you make decisions. You don't miss opportunities. You inspire others, and passionate, determined, committed, relatively happy people, they lead naturally. It's the same person, but when the mental chemistry is different, you get different results, and it's about your state. Now, there are going to be three characteristics to your state. And controlling your state, you can call it your mental state, you can call it your emotional state, you can call it your mindset in the current moment, you can call it your state of mind. I'm only going to call it state, okay? Just like the state of Louisiana, you're going to be in a state. It's where your mind is living at in the moment. What state are you in, okay? And some states, quite frankly, are better than others, all right? Now, Harvard University, a study demonstrated that your physiology, the way that your body is moving, for just 2 minutes, that's 120 seconds, it caused a 20% boost in testosterone, which is incredible. That's the master hormone for men and women, believe it or not. It also caused an 18% decrease in cortisol. Just 2 minutes. 2 minutes of positive body posture, your physiology. You can write that word down. One element of your state is physiology, okay? Having positive physiology for just 2 minutes caused a 20% boost in testosterone, an 18% decrease in cortisol. That's the stress hormone. That's the hormone that makes your hair fall out or thin. When you wash your hair, it's all coming out in the shower. You're stressed out. That's the cortisol is the hormone that causes you to store more body fat in your midsection and hip and butt area than you would. It's cortisol. It's a hormone. It just does that. Like testosterone is a hormone. It makes you stronger and leaner and helps burn fat. Cortisol is a hormone that causes you to be stressed out, to be emotionally weak, and to store fat. Okay. And then you also, when you change your body posture physically, your physiology for just 2 minutes, it caused a 33% increase in confidence and risk-taking behavior. Your ability to take risks, okay? And risks are important if you want to win. A number one way to never win a game is to never play the game. If you do decide to play the game, the number one way to never become an all-star is to never take a shot. Is there a chance you might miss? Sure. Sure, but you got to take the shot. You got to take the shot, right? You're going to be more likely to take the shot based on positive body posture, okay? Physiology, all right? The affirmations are cool, but this isn't even that. This is not mindset work. Y'all know I love mindset work. This is just physiology. This is just body posture, okay? So when you sit up straight, head up, chest out, okay? Shoulders back. When you walk confidently, head up, chest out. Right? Shoulders back. When you move confidently, when your posture is confident, it is going to increase multiple categories inside your body, and that starts to shift your state. Your body leads your mind, not the other way around. This is why stretching for at least 2 minutes, like in the daily emails from Go to Sauna, this is why the exercises that you do physically, this stuff truly, truly matters. And another thing about your physiology, y'all should know this very well, is going to be the breathing exercises. Okay, do you understand that when you breathe, that is the most important part of your physiology? When you inhale deep and you hold that breath at the top, and the slower you release it, the better. Because when you release that slowly, it's stimulating your vagus nerve. We could do a whole call on that. But even the way that you exhale matters. All right. It's shifting your physiology. Your body is going to lead your mind, not the other way around when it comes down to shifting your state. Okay. So breathing, very, very, very important. Now, before we move on to the second aspect of shifting your state, and if you shift your state, you shift your life. I need you to understand that. Is that stress hormones, when you get stressed out, stress hormones like cortisol and disappointment and anger and things like that, they complete the chemical cycle in 90 seconds. Something bad happens, for 90 seconds, your body is undergoing a chemical cycle of stress hormones. If your stress lasts longer than 90 seconds, it's no longer chemistry. Now it's choice. You're choosing to revisit these negative emotions and negative events over and over again because they were so emotionally impactful. But if you shift your state, you can get out of that. So if you let your stress last longer than 90 seconds, and again, you're free to do that. You're free. It's not chemistry anymore. It is a choice. Okay. And yeah, you're right. Most people do not realize it at all. All they know is they upset. And they upset, they're in a negative state, and they're reacting and interacting with people in their environment in a negative way because their state's messed up. And as human beings, we want everybody to have a negative state too if we have a negative state. Okay. But you got to be stronger than that. Now, you allowed to feel the emotion for 90 seconds max, but then deliberately change your physical state with what? Physiology, breathing, and confident posture. Like they had a book, I think, or an article written about the Superman pose. When you stand up, your hands are on your hips like Superman would do, head up, chest out, shoulders back, and you just hold that for 2 minutes. There have been entire books written on this type of stuff, much less Harvard studies, but that's how it works. You'll never see me walking with my head down, shoulders slumped, bad posture. You just never see it. And I don't want to see it from you. I want you to be in a positive movement, positive breathing, positive posture, positive voice, because your physiology is 1/3 of the state equation. And if you get the state equation down, it's going to change your life, and it'll be the best 2026 that you could possibly have, even if this is the only call you were ever on. Leaders do not eliminate stress over time. Leaders end stress on command. Because why? You cannot get the leadership job done for your team or for your family if you're stressed out and dealing with that. You have to be able to get rid of it instantly because, buddy, the mortgage is still due. It's still due, like it or not, until you pay your house off, until you pay it off, and then you might go get another house, the mortgage is still due, okay? You don't have an option. Your team is still gonna need you to show up every day and put in the work and complete the mission. Your family, your team, your parents, your kids, your spouses, people depend on you. And if you're gonna lead right, okay? Now, part 2 of the state formula, we covered breathing, we covered activating the parasympathetic nervous system, engaging the neocortex with breathing, right? Turning down the amygdala and turning up the neocortex. We talked about posture and movement. And this is why working out is so important. This is why people had so much fun and their confidence was through the roof during the Ageless Athletes Challenge. This is why people are going live every single day, because you were 33% more confident. And if your workouts have fallen off, if you stopped working out and you stopped walking and stopped doing your stretching, stop doing your cardio, stop sleeping good, stop drinking your water, it's no wonder you've been going live less often. It's no wonder you've recruited less. It's no wonder that you just aren't performing at the level you did 2 months ago. You can observe within yourself. It's not an indictment. It's just I want you to observe what happens when you take control of your physiology through physical fitness, okay? If you have no physiology, you have no control. If you can't control your own body, good luck with everything else. Now, the second part of controlling and understanding your mental state is going to be your focus. So number 1 was physiology. The second is going to be your focus. Now, your brain is going to delete, distort, and generalize based on focus. I'll say that again. The second part of controlling your state, you control your state, you control your life, is going to be your focus. Okay, your focus is the second element of controlling your state. Your brain is going to delete, distort, and generalize based on focus. Anybody ever came to you and said something like, "Oh my gosh, you always giving me a hard time"? Anybody ever said that to anybody? Have you ever told somebody that? "Oh my goodness, you always giving me a hard time," or "You always doing this, that, or third"? We've either said it or we've heard it, but if we're being honest, probably both. You always doing this, or this, that, or third. That means your focus is messed up. Why? Because it's generalizing and distorting. Okay. If someone comes to me and says, "Will, you always," even if it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. They say, "Will, you always do this, this, and this." And then you got to ask, always? Always. Like, do you really know what the word always means? Or is your focus messed up so you're just distorting and generalizing to make a point because you're emotionally in a negative state? Right? Do you always, like, think about how powerful the word always is. If someone says you always talking crazy to people, always? You mean to tell me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the only words that come out of my mouth to anybody are always talking crazy? Always? And so the answer is no. You know it's no. But my point is, when someone's focus is messed up, okay, they're generalizing and they're distorting and it's not accurate. So some people can say, "Oh my gosh, I never win in network marketing. I'll never make any money." Never? You never win ever? You never make any money? Like, think about what you're saying when your focus is messed up. You're not telling the truth. You're telling lies. And if you're gonna lie, you may as well lie positively. "I always win." "I always win. I always make money." If you're gonna lie, you might as well lie positive. At least the Bible gives you a green light for that one, right? "Let the weak say, I am strong." Okay? So it's telling you to adjust your focus. I want you to ask yourself right now, you don't need to put this in the chat, but if you know that you need to operate your physiology, the second part is you ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? Okay. And this is what happens with people who gossip a lot. This is what happens with people who get in a negative state. Even if something bad actually happened, once they get in a negative state and their focus shifts, they start generalizing. Oh my goodness. And they start distorting. And then they start deleting all of the positive things and positive things that occurred within that situation or with that person. It's the craziest thing when your focus is on point and you're communicating with someone whose focus is not on point. It's negative. So I want you to ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? And ask yourself, is it accurate? Most times it's actually not, but is it accurate? And if it's true and accurate, is it empowering or is it weakening? Is it empowering or is it weakening? Because that's the two elements of state, okay? Your focus. What are you focusing on? If I'm going to tell you, if you're going to focus on something, make it positive. All right? So you adjust your physiology, your posture, your movement. Smiling activates positive things within the brain in a way that frowning does not. The way you handle your voice, the way you stand, the way you move with intent, and way you speak. Listen, you cannot feel powerful in a collapsed body. Your physiology and your posture is very, 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 very important. And then you're going to need to adjust your focus to make sure you're focusing on positive things. Put a 1 in the chat if those first two things make sense. Okay. The last thing that we're going to mention, the third part of your focus is going to be, okay, the third part of your focus is going to be your self-talk. It is going to be your self-talk. And this is precisely why winners typically hang out with winners, and winners are always talking about winning. Okay? This is why it gets so difficult for some people in certain situations to be around certain people or certain teams, because one person might have really, really negative self-talk, and that's going to start to spill over, and you can tell what their focus is based on how they're talking to you, but that's a reflection of their self-talk, and then you can check their physiology. Okay? Your self-talk is going to be so important. Jamel says, yep, love self-talk, started, it works. Self-talk is one of the most important things you can do by far. Like if you had to pick one practice to start doing in addition to deep breathing, it would be deep breathing and then the self-talk. I'm telling you, self-talk is absolutely critical, but that's part of your mental state. If your self-talk is bad, man, I ain't nothing, I ain't winning, my money ain't right, everybody being disrespectful, this, that, and the third. If you're talking crazy to yourself, even on a subconscious level, that self-talk is going to shift you in a very, very negative place from a mental state standpoint, and people will see the results that you're living in the wrong state. I love Nebraska as much as the next person, but I'd much rather live in California. I'd much rather live in Florida or Texas. You just got to pick the state that you want to be in. Okay. So your physiology, this is why working out, strengthening your posture, your bones, your joints, your nutrition, this is very, very, very important. Even what you eat, you feel different after you eat a bunch of Wendy's and Burger King and Coca-Cola than if you have a smoothie and some mind, body, and soul and some water and maybe some fruit. You feel different. If no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay? So those are the three things that control your state. Now, assuming you can get in a positive state with your physiology, your focus, and your self-talk, these are three things that you control. So after this call, you should never, ever, ever again not be able to shift your state in anywhere between 90 seconds to get rid of the negative stuff that's attacking you. And as soon as that 90 seconds is up, you spend 2 minutes working on your state. Okay? 2 minutes working on your state. You cut on a song that you love to sing and you move around the room singing and dancing. Ain't nobody got to see you, but that's improving your physiology, especially if the lyrics are good. Now you're working on your self-talk. And then if you're focusing on something positive, be it your vision board and things of that nature, you're going to instantly shift your state within 2 minutes and you're going to have an amazing day. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to not have an amazing day. All right? Because Charlotte just said it changed the mood of the church service at the funeral. She said it turned out really well based on shifting the physiology, the music and the singing and physiology is very, very, very important. Now we're going to talk about once we shift that state and you're deciding on your future identity, so you can make decisions based on your future identity. We're bringing everything full circle right now. Your identity is going to be your internal brand. Your identity is what people believe or what you believe about yourself under pressure. Okay, that's what it is, your identity. For example, some self-talk that you'd be saying if you really believed in yourself under pressure would be, I always find a way. It always works out. I always find a way. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's the type of self-talk. And then you're able to breathe so you can activate your neocortex. You can focus on solutions instead of problems because the neocortex is the part of the brain that governs creativity and higher level thinking. So when you do 3 to 5 really deep breaths, you hold it at the top, you let it out real, real slow. Each breath should take at least 15 to 20 seconds for inhale, hold, and exhale, at least 15 to 20 seconds per breath. Your neocortex in the part of your brain that solves problems and comes up with solutions is active. And then with yourself, so your focus is going to be on solutions, not the problem, not, oh, I'm down on money. It's how do I make money, right? And then you having a self-talk, I always find a way. I just do. I don't know why. I just always, it's funny. And that's me talking to myself. I don't know. I just always figure it out. It's the weirdest thing. That type of belief with your physiology, your self-talk, and your focus is going to increase follow-through. It's going to reduce procrastination. It's going to build certainty. It's going to build belief. If you have that I always find a way identity, that identity is going to drive behavior automatically. Okay? So changing your breathing, changing your body, recalling moments of certainty and confidence. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between memory and reality or imagination and real. It doesn't know the difference. And the more that you use these muscles every single day, it's going to grow those mental state building muscles and neural pathways in the brain. Very, very, very powerful. All right. So once you get that part figured out about your identity, your brand, about things always working out for you, you always are confident. You always find a way. You don't have to adopt that particular identity. That's just one element of my personality. You can take that one or you can do some other ones. It's really up to what you feel you need at this time in your life. Now, leadership, once you know how to shift your state within 2 minutes and start taking action, these are 4 characteristics, all right, that leadership is going to need right here. It's going to require these 4. Number one, true leadership, leadership that lasts, is going to require you to have a vision that is bigger than yourself. You will do more for other people than you will ever do for yourself if you're a top tier leader. Okay. Number two, you must actually have a passion to execute. A passion to execute. Very, very, very powerful. All right. Number three, this is very important. You have to have discipline through disappointment. Okay. You have to have discipline through disappointment, because disappointment is going to come. Are you going to let it knock you off your square, or are you going to continue to progress and take the proper steps for you, your family, your team, and everybody that you serve? Are you going to continue to lead through disappointment, discipline through disappointment? And then number four, leadership is going to require influence and motivation. And those are put together because influence and motivation are cousins, they're related. And luckily for you, influence and motivation are learnable skills. They're learnable skills. If you don't know how to influence people, you don't know how to motivate people, you can learn those skills. All right. Leadership is not just personality. It is a certain set of skills plus the right mental state plus your identity. Okay. And we're going to, on those calls that we do, because we learned how to influence people, we'll talk about how to influence people on those once a month, no ceiling calls that we do a little bit later. So we're going to talk about why events like Las Vegas and Dallas really help. I want you to think about why it works the way it works. When you're in a luxurious, calm environment and things are in order, okay? Like let's take not the Floyd Mayweather penthouse, but the Sacramento Kings penthouse, the big one. Best penthouse in Vegas, for sure. When you're in a luxury, calm environment, it sends a signal of safety to the brain. And when the brain, just by walking through the door, a lot of you who haven't been there but once or twice, you really understand it sends a signal of safety to the brain. That's number one. When the brain perceives safety, the cortisol is going to drop. The parasympathetic nervous system and the neocortex are going to activate, and your brain waves are going to shift to learning, imagination, imprinting. It's the exact brain states that are required for deep change. This is why when you can, you want your network marketing events to be done in calm, beautiful rooms or beaches or resorts or casinos or high-end luxury spaces when you can. They're not indulgences. It's not waste of money. It is a state accelerator. It's a state accelerator, okay? So identity elevation takes place at in-person events in a way a Zoom could never do, okay? When you go into a place that's a $20 million place, or in Dallas, we were at the Presidential Suite. I forget the name of the hotel. We were at the Presidential Suite, kind of like an icebreaker, our warm-up. Your brain asks a question. When you walk into a $1 million, multi-million dollar room, your brain asks the question, why am I here? Why am I here? Who am I to be here? That question alone, why am I here? It upgrades your self-concept. It doesn't work on Zoom. It only works in person, okay? That question alone upgrades your self-concept, and you immediately, when you walk into Floyd Mayweather's penthouse, one of his penthouses, when you walked in there and they got the pool outside on the balcony, like the mini pool, like the hot tub pool, but then the big one is upstairs, you immediately are borrowing the self-confidence of leaders, high performers, decision makers, top earners. You have to walk in those footsteps geographically. It increases your physiology to a level where it will never be the same. It will never be the same. Your focus will never be the same because you know what's possible now. Okay? We're changing your state event by event by event, but not until now are we explaining to you why you see the growth you see from event to event, and you don't see that when you don't attend in person. You just don't see it. There are people at this company that are so talented. There's one young lady in particular, I'm not going to mention her name. It's one of the very few leaders in this company who's never been to an event. It's like two or three of them. She should be $1 million earner with this company, but she's not, and I can tell you 100%. We talk on the phone, do coaching calls regularly. We help the best we can, but she's probably at about $200,000, give or take, because her state it just needs more work. It just needs more work. And it'll still work over time, but boy, when you're in person, is it a lot faster? All right. So just understand that when you're at an event in person, there is something that occurs. It's a mental phenomenon called state synchronization. When at least a couple dozen people, if not more, okay, are relaxed, they're open mentally, they're inspired, they're focused, and they're positive, the nervous systems are going to synchronize. This is measurable with scientific equipment. Emotion becomes contagious. Belief is going to spread faster. Okay. People are going to enroll faster, take action immediately. They're going to commit harder. When bills and stress and urgency fade into the background, even if it's for just a weekend, when you don't have the bills and the stress and the urgency whooping your butt, your brain can actually take the time to ask, what do I actually want to create? You can't ask that question when you're stressed out, when you're angry, when you're fussy, when you're tired, when you're depressed, when you're sick. It's hard for your brain to ask that question because you're in the wrong state. So you breathe, you adjust your physiology, you adjust your self-talk and your focus, 2 minutes, and then you ask yourself that question, what do I actually want to create? Because manifestation requires mental bandwidth. And when you're in a luxury environment or you're in an environment with a bunch of happy people, it removes the brain's survival interference long enough for you to make the right decisions and come up with solutions. Okay? Manifestation is not magic. It is neurology. It is behavior alignment because your state is going to determine what actions you take. Your state is going to determine what you notice. Your state is going to determine what you believe is possible. And if you're in a negative state, you're not going to take action. You're not going to notice opportunity. If you do notice opportunity, you're not going to take advantage of it. Your brain is going to default to fear and hesitation. A negative, fearful state is going to sabotage your follow through, and you're never going to get to where you want to go. But a high state is going to make you more confident, more likely to take risks that are going to pay off big time in the long term. It increases pattern recognition. It increases decisiveness. Okay. Being in a high state is going to align your behavior with your long-term goals because your brain is only going to act on what feels congruent with your identity. Okay. I went to an event, it was $5,000. All right. That's something that old me would not take advantage of. I would definitely have filtered out that opportunity because it didn't line up with who I really thought I was. It might have lined up with who I said I was, but it didn't line up with who I was in my heart. So I would never spend that much money on a personal development event, much less thousands of dollars on audios. That's crazy. The next event I'm going to is $10,000. I'm even more excited about that one than the $5,000 event. Why? Because it lines up with my identity. If I want to make $1 million a month, which is my plan for this year, I have to be in a room with people who make $1 million a month. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to hijack that state. I have to be in the same room. It's just how it works. All right. Your brain is only going to act on what feels congruent with your identity. Well, Will, you can just learn all that online, this, that, or a third. That sounds great in logic and theory. But when I talk to the people who make over $250,000 a week, that's not how they do it. And the people telling me that, oh man, you don't have to go do that. You don't have to pay money for that. You can do this. You can take this shortcut. You can do YouTube, man. They got this online course I saw. Those people don't make $250,000 a week. They just don't. So who should you listen to? The people who make the money you want to make, if you can even find them, if they even give you the time of a day. And trust me, you call them on the phone, they're not giving you the time of day because there are people who will be there in person. You got to understand the concept, all right? Now, if you're going to, let's say, for example, and y'all know I love audios, and we were in Vegas and had some amazing audios to listen to. When you listen to those, did you notice that your physiology changed because you were breathing a certain way and you had a very relaxed, comfortable posture? Well, as comfortable as it could be in the dark, in a very, very nice casino resort environment. So your physiology and your breathing was a certain way. Did you notice that while you were listening to the audios, did you notice that your focus shifted toward a positive future that you wanted to impact and have? Did you notice that? Your focus changed. Did you notice that your self-talk, because you're using your imagination and you're following the direction with the audios, did you notice that your self-talk was very, 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 very positive? And at some point in the beginning, it was therapeutic because you had to work. We all had to work through some things mentally before we got to get to the real positive part, and how emotionally impactful that was. That allowed you to change your state. And for those of y'all who purchased those audios, you need to listen to those every single day. Even if you got 3 or you got 8, it doesn't matter. Listen to them every single day. Why? One a day, every day. Why? Because it's going to rewrite your automatic self-talk. It's going to shift your physiology and your focus, and you are going to be in the most incredible state every single day. And it's going to be very, very difficult for you not to win. It's going to be very, very difficult. It works because it's bypassing the critical filters that keep us stuck. It's replacing the negative self-talk that we aren't even aware of on a subconscious level with intentional. And over time, be it a couple of weeks, couple of months, the new voice becomes your true voice. And you're going to be building emotional muscle memory, because confidence, certainty, focus, and faith, all of those are states. They're all states. And you can do it without audios, obviously, but it's just important that you do it. It's just important that you do it. You make a powerful state easier to access, and then it becomes your default state, and it's going to be very, very difficult for you to lose. Your self-talk will be, I always win. I always win. It's also going to reduce your emotional volatility. It's going to create emotional resilience under pressure. It's kind of like going to the gym. So when we were in Vegas, you got that one workout in. You got one mental workout in, right? And it had a temporary pump. But when you can do that daily, it's going to be permanent change, because the subconscious mind learns through repetition, emotion, and imagery. All right. A daily audio, that you can do it yourself, YouTube it, however you want to do it. But that's going to be reps at the gym, and you need to harden your new identity. Okay. Coming to events, listening to audios that you create yourself for YouTube, or ones that like we use that we purchase. Understand you're removing survival stress. Look, Roz Mayo says she came back different. Amen to that. Amen to that. And don't worry, for those of you you're not ready to make that type of investment in those audios yet, even with the discount coupon, I can tell you we will have the 3 of them in Dallas for you. You'll have to wait till August, but guess what? Better late than never. And in the interim, you can watch the people who did participate and just kind of watch our growth over the next couple of months. And maybe that level of inspiration and watching people go to another level will motivate you to invest in yourself and make that magic happen. Now, what's going to happen in the next couple of months, I want you to just start practicing controlling your state. I want you to start practicing focusing on the things that you want and not the things that you don't want. I want you to focus on your perception of certain events, and you ask yourself, do I feel this way about this, whatever is happening in your life? Do I feel this way because I'm in a negative state? Or let me go ahead, take 2 minutes, and I can take 90 seconds to whine about the state and complain. That's okay. Let the negative chemical hormones run their cycle at 90 seconds in your body. But then spend the next 2 minutes shifting your state to something positive. We gave you all the tools tonight to be able to do that for free 99 on this call. You shift the state. Once you shift your state, think about that particular event in your life that's currently going on, stressing you out. And I can assure you, you'll probably feel way better about it. And you'll be focused on solutions and creating solutions than complaining, moaning, and groaning, and this, that, and the third. That's never going to get you anywhere. It's just going to annoy the people around you because they know you're not a leader, because the weakness that you have is leaking out through your words and your actions. And can't nobody trust your decisions because you can't even manage your own life. And that's part of your personal brand. And people can sense that in you, okay? So shift your state before you start making these type of decisions, and it's definitely going to become a habit for you, and it's going to make sure that you have a really, really powerful work day, all right? So we'll close with this. We'll close with this. Your personal brand is important based on the certainty you have, because certainty is the most attractive leadership quality. When you're certain about what you're saying and doing, it's going to have some momentum in some people. But when you're not certain about what you're doing and you're wishy-washy back and forth, you're going to have excuses, not momentum. Your certainty is going to be picked up on by other people based on your state, how you breathe, how you stand, your self-talk, your focus, your physiology. All of that is your state. All of that goes into certainty. And so your personal brand, the state you're in, the way you show up on social media too, not just that we've been talking a lot about in person tonight, but even on social media, for those of you who can't do stuff in person, not yet, you know, if you believe you can't do stuff in person, your brand online, your tone, your energy, your consistency, your certainty, people don't really join companies. They join your state. All right. Your state that you're in is going to determine whether or not you send 20 DMs today about the business. Your state is going to determine your identity, and your identity determining your posture. Your certainty is going to determine how many people follow you in a level of duplication. All right. If your team struggles, train the state in you, and then you train the state in them, because they're not going to send the DMs if they don't feel good. They don't. But sometimes it takes some accountability, some self-accountability to go, man, I don't feel good because of decisions I made. I'm in a bad state. I'm not controlling my own mind. People who dwell on social media, we are going to post from a place of strength, or DM. I'm more of a DMer than a poster, but you know, we all do something on social media. We're going to post a DM from a place of strength, a place of calm confidence. We're going to post and/or DM from a place of clarity. You see other people, they are going to post from a standpoint of frustration. They're going to post from a place of neediness. Oh, I need one more order. I need. And it's not to say they won't get it, but is that really the type of leader you're going to want to follow? Absolutely not. It's neediness. It's emotional volatility. You do much better in the long term posting from a place of clarity, calm confidence, and strength. All right. Our final summary for the evening, ladies and gentlemen: your state controls your thinking, your physiology, your focus, and your self-talk controls your state. Your identity, the future you, if you decide to act like the future you, that will control your consistency. Leadership is learnable. Will, you were born leader. No, I was not born a leader. I was born a baby. Okay, leadership is learnable. Influence, motivation, it's learnable. But influence, leadership, and motivation, they all begin with mastery of your emotional state. If you master your state and shape your identity, you're going to lead others naturally. Okay, this call tonight is not a motivational call. It's an instructional call. It's a how-to call. We haven't done one of those like that in a while. But if it made sense, put a 1 in the chat. And if you have any questions, put those in the chat, and we'll wrap it up for the evening. But I appreciate everybody hopping on. We will see y'all on the testimonial call on Monday. Absolutely phenomenal call each and every Monday night with Coach Marcus. And just tons of incredible testimonials from customers and people on our team who are really good at acquiring customers. And then I'll be back with y'all Tuesday night with the one and only Coach Seymour Greenwich Blake. And if Coach Blake has a little bit of time at the end of the call, I will pop on and share a little bit of stuff with you. But he has been knocking it out of the park all year long on Tuesday nights. We appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for your time. We'll catch y'all on the next one. I don't think we have any questions in the chat. That means we covered everything. Absolutely perfect. Coach Marcus Jones just dropped in the chat. And remember, if you have not already got a copy of Coach Seymour's book, ladies and gentlemen, drop the link in the chat. I cannot wait for mine. I have not received it yet, but I shall, and cannot wait to read it and just pull a curtain back on just some of his success secrets. But we're very, very appreciative. Let's make sure we wait and get this, get that link in the chat before we wrap the call in case anybody needs that one. Let's see, Coach Seymour, did you put the link in the chat, or did Coach Marcus? I'm looking for it right now. For people who need, don't worry about it. Look, Tiara Moore, Big T in the building. Tiara Moore got it for everybody. All right, y'all go ahead and save that one. Lock that one in, and we will catch y'all on tomorrow. Good night and God bless. Thank y'all so much.